What's good, everyone? I had a day off, I was at a loose end, so I thought, you know what, let me just drop a video reflecting on 2K25, why I came back, what I thought of it, what I think of the kind of current community and the vibes, and yeah, just freestyle really for sort of 10 minutes and let you guys know my thoughts on a few different things. So like and subscribe and yeah, let's get into it. So first things first, why did I come back to MyTeam? Because to be honest, it was 50-50. When I left last year, I said, you know, I might come back, I might not, I don't know. I said I'd give it at least 6 months, but after the All-Star content last year and the gambling only stuff, there wasn't really anything in the game for me anymore, so I went and played FIFA and had a good time on that at the end of last year. But why did I come back? Really because the people I trust in the community, the people whose opinions I trust in the community, started talking about the fact that they were enjoying the game a little bit. You know, we were getting decent content, decent events, good budget cards. And you know, I'm not like stuck in my ways. I'm always happy to judge something at face value as and when the time is, you know, is relevant. But the people I kind of associate with, the people I talk to were pretty much all back on the game. And that includes people like Killer Josh, Ludes, Stevie G, you know, they were playing again. So I was like, let me try it out. Let me come back and see what happens. I want to say thank you for 2K for giving me the game, a copy of the game. They didn't have to do that. That was super cool. But yeah, they gave me a copy of the game, which obviously then made it a kind of a no-brainer then to come back because it wasn't even going to cost me anything to try it out. And honestly, I enjoyed it. When I first got back on the game, which would have been around April, I think, I enjoyed it. We had the events where, you know, Gasol, Kid, you know, I can't remember what the event was called, Glitched event or something. And it was just cool. It was something to do. I could see they finally kind of built a schedule with these events. And, you know, there were some decent cards in there that were attainable if you grind the game. I think it was just a good period. The budget cards were good. You know, I think kind of we had that arc from like cards like Caspi dropping all the way through to cards like Childress dropping. And, you know, for that kind of whole period, I was kind of enjoying the game. I was playing quite a bit of Showdown. Salary cap seemed fun. Wasn't a massive fan of Park at the time, but that grew on me over, you know, over the next few months. But in general, it was okay. I wouldn't say it was amazing, but it was okay. And it was definitely more than enough to keep me interested. But the other reason I kind of wanted to come back to the community is I kind of missed the community, right? And by community, I mean like the AllTeam community, right? I mean the co-hosts, you know, Josh, Ludes, people like that, and also all the people that interact with our podcast and, you know, our content. Yeah, I just missed it. So at that point, there was no reason for me not to come back. Definitely not, you know, no reason not to just try it. And I tried it and I was enjoying it. So yeah, that's really the reason I came back. And here's where the problem kind of lies for me. I think 2K actually did a really good job of not only bringing me, but a lot of other people back to the game through that sort of 4-week period, really, where the events were decent and there was a reason to load up, which there hasn't been for quite a while. A few years, I'd be honest, if I'm being honest, like a few years, but there was a reason to load up and, you know, they did a really good job of bringing a lot of us back. And, you know, we were like grinding the game again, you know, it was like, you know, 2K20 days. A lot of us were grinding the game to get things out of the events. And then they just gassed it, basically, is what happened. It just got to the point where, you know, Dark Matters were the best cards in the events when I started playing. And they were attainable. And then there was 100 overalls, and the Dark Matters was still the best cards that were attainable. Then there was Invincibles, and then the Dark Matters was still the best cards that were attainable. And then there was GOAT cards, and the Dark Matters, and maybe 100 overall were the best cards that were still attainable. So yeah, it just went off a cliff real quick. I think they did well to bring us back, but the last couple of months have just been, honestly, in terms of me actually playing the game, I think 24 was worse because it was so bad that I didn't even play the game. In terms of actually playing the game, yeah, 25 is the worst endgame we've seen. I think there's 100 inaccessible cards in the game. We're even going back to, like, you know, point guard Jokic, who's still inaccessible, right? You look at all the cards, we're getting 10 to 15 a week that are completely inaccessible. Yeah, it's just not been good. They kind of brought us back in and then immediately switched up, and it just became a money grab again for a very long time. And at endgame, it's particularly frustrating because, you know, games like FIFA, for example, you know, they're probably a week away. To be honest, you can pretty much do it now. We're at a point now where you can get unlimited packs in the game. Everyone's going to end up with every single card. Bear in mind, FIFA releases after 2K, so they're earlier in the cycle than 2K are. 2K are releasing 10 to 15 inaccessible cards, where a game like FIFA has content where you can basically pull every single card that's been released for the entire year for free. So it's just two different worlds, and you know, this is the 2K we kind of know and expect, which is a real shame, because I think if they kept it up and, you know, allowed that power creep to go with the increase in cards, and, you know, we were chasing GOAT cards now, even if it was just one of the 10 inaccessible GOAT cards that have been released this week, I think people would be way more interested in playing the game. But I can see, just as much as so many people came back when I did, that many people have dropped off now. So I think it was a very, you know, very characteristic short-termism from 2K. Let's get people on, let's make a bunch of money, and then we'll worry about it next year. So yeah, I haven't enjoyed the experience. The only thing I've really enjoyed is Park over the last couple of months. The Sunday streak has been fun. I've won like 200 games this season. You know, I'm kind of working my way towards the rewards, which, you know, is I guess something else we should talk about. You know, the RNG rewards. You know, I said on the podcast, on the last podcast a couple of weeks ago, that I still haven't pulled anything good out of a 99 or 100 overall pack. Now that has changed, because I opened the 99 plus pack for the streak on Sunday, and Invincible Yao came out of it. So yeah, big pull there. Maybe the biggest pull of the year, actually. I don't think I've seen a bigger pull than that out of a pack like that. So my luck definitely changed for a day, but let's be honest, the RNG kind of 0.1% chance of pulling an actual good card out of a reward pack, it's just been garbage. It's not incentivizing, it's not motivating, everything's unauctionable. Yeah, no good. Just on the events as well, and I'm kind of bouncing around a little bit. You know, the MT method, the fact that it's gone, and the fact that once they realized what we were doing, they kind of nerfed it and made it so much more difficult. But it was always an intentional play. I don't know. It just didn't feel like a game mode that was trying to give me anything for the last few months. But Park has been enjoyable. You know, I've been running with Josh and DBG and a few other people, and you know, I go in and just play ones now and then whenever I want to kind of get that 2K fix. Nothing else is really worth it. I'm playing salary cap as well. But yeah, not great. Not great. Not a great into the year, and definitely not excited going into 26, because, you know, we ended with the same antics, really. Let's talk about the community. So I think the simplest way to put this is there isn't a community. There's communities now. You know, I think before there was a community, and we always had like these kind of little niches, but everyone still felt like they were part of the same community. Now it's communities. You know, you've got Comp, you've got Sim Nation, you know, you've got people who spend money, people who are anti-money. It's all over the place. And I think the problematic thing is, these communities are so entrenched in their views that anyone, I think some of them, I'm not saying everyone, I think anyone who doesn't agree with their kind of state of mind or views is like an op now, like they're against us, right? So it just breeds this kind of contempt in the community. Like, you go on Twitter, it's not a fun place to be anymore. It used to be, you know, you could say the most harmless thing, you could talk about your own experiences and people will just throw labels around, you know, pocket watcher, you know, your words are meaningless, things like that. And you know, it's kind of hard to have fun now in this community, I think, which is all I really care about, to be honest. It's all I've ever cared about, you know, whether it's a podcast, a charity tournament, whatever, you know, me paying for basically Josh to lose X amount of games. You know, I've always tried to create fun for myself, not necessarily for anyone else, and it's just so hard to have fun in this community because everyone is so opinionated. And I think, you know, I'm just going to touch on it. It's been very frustrating because when I brought the podcast back, I really brought it back with the key objective of just having fun this time. I didn't want to give these boring, nuanced, you know, deep dive takes. I'm not even doing it now, like with this video. You know, I could talk about the gameplay, for example, and say, oh, you know, the reason it doesn't work is because they're trying to find a balance between, you know, Play Now and Park and MyTeam and all these different things. And that's actually why it doesn't work. And that's why, you know, 2K will always struggle to make a balanced game. It's boring and it's all been said 1,000 times. Like, it doesn't need to be said anymore. What is disappointing is obviously we went down the road of having a bit more fun with it, and I had a blast recording those podcasts. And you know, people legitimately have turned on us. You know, people that we considered friends, people we respected, people we've championed, people we invited on the podcast, just turned on us. Why? What's the reason? I don't know. It's obviously it's your prerogative. You don't have to like us and you don't have to like what we're doing, but it does speak to the division in the community and how just doing the most, sort of simple thing, or, you know, change in direction, or, I don't know, innocent thing can just really bring a uncomfortable level of like hate and disrespect towards you. So yeah, I don't know. The community is cooked. You know, that's my opinion. I love the Our Team community. It's quite interesting, really, because when we brought the podcast back and had this change of direction, it was never to get views. I wasn't even monetized on YouTube because I hadn't uploaded for a year. It was never to get views. It was just to have fun. It's like I said, it's the reason I came back. And the irony is, you know, the last podcast we did was the most viewed podcast. In every stat, it was the highest performing podcast we've ever done. So obviously people do enjoy it. You know, people are enjoying it. But in one person's enjoyment, for some reason, people feel the need to be alienated in that process. It's not the objective. It's not what we're trying to do. So, you know, we're cool. We're cool with everyone. And, you know, podcast will be back next year for sure. I will touch on the gameplay briefly. For me, it's just very simple. I just don't enjoy it. I don't think it just does not feel intuitive. It does not feel fluid. I think pro play has been a disaster. I don't hate on 2K for trying it. I can see what they were trying to do. Theoretically, it could have worked really well. I think practically it hasn't worked well. You know, you could jump on any stream and most streamers are just raging about the animations they're seeing. You know, the players move like they're in molasses. It's so inconsistent. You know, people are hitting whites at a ridiculously high clip, you know, on medium and low risk. I don't know. I'm not saying green or miss, by the way. I'm just saying, like, tone everything down a little bit. I just don't think it's a very good game to play. I think the last 2K I will ever enjoy playing, really, in terms of a gameplay feel, is 2K22. 2K23 a little bit. I think it played well in modes like co-op and things like that, but didn't play particularly well in Unlimited or Showdown or whatever it is. So I've been at peace for a very long time that, you know, I'm not really going to enjoy the gameplay anymore. But that's really all I want to say about it. It's not fun to play. It's not an enjoyable game. It's not an intuitive gameplay experience to me. So what's next? For me, it's very simple. I'm God again until April. I think this is just how I'm going to approach the game every year. It's good to kind of be in the community in short bursts. I definitely reached my limit on it this year. That's why I've dipped off Twitter already outside of posting that Yao poll because it was so crazy. But outside of that, I'm gone, you know, and I will do this every year, I think. I'll come back for a few months when, you know, and that's really only contingent on the things that brought me back this year. You know, if people are talking about the fact the game is enjoyable, accessible, whatever, then I'll come back and play it for a bit and then I'll get off again and I'll bring the podcast back at the end of next year. I mean, if we go down a route like last year, it won't be coming back, right? Like, so it is really up to 2K and it is really that simple. You know, if the game is good, I'll play it. If the game isn't good, I won't play it. And good to me is accessibility. That's it. So if they make an accessible game, I'll play it and talk about it. If they're going to be as stingy as they've been, you know, the last couple of months, no one wants to talk about that. And, you know, going back to the podcast stuff, like, how much is there to talk about? If you're not having fun with it, like, what are you talking about? Oh, we got another 5 GOAT cards this week. Cool. That's a 3-minute podcast, isn't it? Yeah. So you've got to give us something to talk about, something to care about. And I don't care about this game right now, so I'm going. I don't think 2K26 is going to be a good game, just to be really clear. I think it'll be a similar thing where they throw us a bone for a month or two at some point to try and get people on the game, probably around the time the game drops for free, to try and get people into it, get people hooked on it, and then, you know, just feed those mechanics to get people to throw their money at it and all accessibility out the window. So I feel quite confident in that prediction. I've been playing this game for enough years now to know the cycle. That is how it will go. So no hopes for 2K26. Hopefully they surprise me. I hope they do. I just thought I'd clear up the whole kind of relationship with 2K thing. I have no relationship with 2K, none. They did give me the game for free, that's it. It's the only kind of interaction I've had with them this year, which again, I appreciate. And I appreciate all the opportunities and stuff they gave me before, you know, going to San Francisco for the playtest, community day, all that stuff was really cool. No, I have no association with 2K, nor do I wish to. And it's not like a kind of hateful thing when I say that. Like, it was not a positive experience for me. I don't need to do it. Like, I just don't need to be involved and I don't want to be involved. And it was a really kind of jarring, I won't go as far as to say toxic, but very close. It was just a very jarring experience. I think, especially where I'm at in life and where I've been at, there's nothing positive that really came from it for me, apart from a lot of frustration. And that's not frustration at the people I was speaking to. You know, they're probably just as frustrated as I am. you know, the ethos of 2K is what it is, right? It is a machine designed to extract money from people through hundreds of different mechanics that they use, pop-ups in game, or, you know, packs or events or whatever, everything, pretty much everything Pro Plus. I mean, I don't know how many different ways this game is monetized right now. I mean, that's not something I can be passionate about. I can be passionate about a video game. I would not say right now 2K's objective is to be a video game. It's just a machine to try and get money out of people. So yeah, we have nothing in common. It's probably, you know, if it was a breakup, you know, we just don't have anything in common anymore. I think it's that simple. So yeah, no, I'm not associated with them. I will not be associated with them. They probably don't want to be associated with me anymore, and that's cool. That's the perfect scenario for all of them. So the final thing, just really quickly, like where I'm at in life. I mean, if anyone's interested, if you're not interested, you can click off now. But where I'm at in life, honestly, the best place I've ever been. I don't want to sugarcoat it. The last couple of years has been like really rough. I've got divorced in that time. You know, my mum's health has really deteriorated in that time to the point where we've had some really scary moments. Things have been really difficult, and above all of that, you know, the kind of financial fallout of all of these things was really bad. You know, I've always been financially very comfortable, and all of a sudden I wasn't. You know, and I really had to lock in, make some changes, and figure out, you know, how to kind of recover this situation, because it wasn't good and it wasn't going to end well. So yeah, I've done that, I guess, is the answer. You know, looking at my life today, I'm in the best relationship I've ever been in. I'm earning more money than I've ever earned in my life. You know, I don't want for anything right now. I'm comfortable. I have, you know, a great friendship group, and you know, I'm closer to my family than I've ever been as well. These are the important things, right? This is really what matters. Whatever your opinions are on 2K, you know, I don't really care. At the end of the day, the important things are the important things, and they're the things I'm going to care about. You know, I'm going to care about my family and, you know, my security and all of these things over anyone's opinion on 2K, including my own. I don't really care. I don't care enough anymore, really, to be honest, to be emotional about the game and that kind of stuff, because all that emotion and all that energy needs to go into more important, right? That's it, and it has, and it's worked. That's it, really. But I don't really know what this video was about. I just wanted to freestyle and had a bit of a spare time. But yeah, a massive thank you. You know, I kind of threw it in this video that we had the best podcast we've ever had in terms of numbers. Thank you. You know, I really appreciate everyone that supported us, watched us, commented, you know, liked the videos and subscribed to us. I've gained more subscribers in the last 2 months than I ever have in a 2-month period as well. I can't thank you enough, and I'm looking forward to getting back next year. Hopefully 2K create a game that will allow me to do that, and we can get back and we can have fun next year on the podcast again. But until then, peace.